I'm so excited to share with you some communication hacks for teens, parents, and teachers. I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all about communication. I teach about parenting, I teach about how to create strong bonds with people and relationships, and I do that through the lens of the principle self-government. In this video, we're going to be talking a little bit more about self-government and some communication hacks that you can use to get things your way, to feel understood, and improve your relationships. In this video, we're going to talk about communication and why we need to improve it. What is going on in that communication with teens and parents and teachers? How can we make a shift there? And then I want to share with you some concrete principles and skills that you can use that will make a huge difference in your relationships and your outcomes. So why do we need communication? Can't we just live our own lives? Can't people just leave us alone? You don't know how many young people that I have met with, because I go to people's houses, they invite me to their homes to do home studies with them sometimes, or home visits, and I will go there and I'll stay for like 3 days and I'll watch their relationships and their communications, and I will give them recommendations so that we can help get them on track to what they want. And you don't know how many people I will ask, how many young people in their teen years, and I will say, well, what do you want out of your relationship? Like 5 years in the future, what do you want your relationship to be like? And they'll say, I don't even want a relationship. And it kind of blows my mind, because I know that's not actually true. Who wants to be alone, really? For your life? You don't want anyone to depend upon? You know, so then I will say to them, okay, so you don't want a relationship. So when you're older, who are you wanting to turn to when you've got a problem, somebody that, you know, you need help in some way? Maybe you got kicked out of a place where you're living, or it burned down, or, you know, whatever it is. Who are you wanting to talk to about your problems? Then they kind of sit there like, well, I don't know, because who really would care? If it's not family, who's going to care? It's family that cares the most. They're also the hardest to work with, okay? It's true. Family is hard, and that's because we know each other so well, and we have such high expectations for each other, and we get disappointed with each other so easily that we start to take it personally, and sometimes we're just awful. Okay, that's how it goes. And that is a problem in our communication. And do you know the same thing can happen with our school teachers as well? We let our expectations trap us. And by the way, just so you know, I have a whole video called The Expectation Trap versus the Cycle for Success. You're going to want to check that out, because that's going to help you not get trapped by expectations. But today in this video, let's talk about how we can communicate with each other so that we hopefully don't fall into some of these traps that we might have. We get emotional when we're trapped. We start villainizing each other. Do you know what that means, to villainize each other? When you villainize someone, what that means is that inside your own head, you start thinking all the bad things about that person. That you think, oh yeah, they're just doing this because they want to control me, or they don't care, and that's why, blah, blah, blah. And you're starting to think pessimistic, negative thoughts about the person, which may or may not be true. Then you are turning the person into a villain in your mind and then in your heart. What is going to happen to you after that? You're going to feel alone. You'll be alone. You'll have to see that person every day, all the time, and you will be alone. You will not have closure. It won't feel good. It won't feel happy. And when you talk to other people, you want to tell them your sad story about how you don't get along with that person, that parent, that teacher. That's not a happy existence. So what do you do then? Well, first off, you've got to take responsibility for what's going on inside your own head. We all feel things, frustration sometimes, but let's not jump to villainizing other people. Let's remember, nobody's perfect. People make mistakes. And let's also try to point our communication in a forward direction. There are skills for that. And we're going to talk about some of those skills here next. Now, I know that probably if you're a young person, you're a really unique one if you're on this channel, because you're listening to things that most people don't want to hear. It takes a lot of courage to go, I got to fix me, you know? This is the self-government channel after all. But there's a lot here for you. So if you want more, maybe click that subscribe button, huh? If you listened to my video called Self-Mastery for Teens, then you'll remember I shared a story about me when I was 14 and how I learned to say okay and be okay and what that did for my relationships. Well, essentially, I was learning how to follow instructions and accept no answers. So there are 4 basic skills. These 4 basic skills actually can heal your relationships. They can improve your communication so much. They are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. And before you start thinking these are baby skills, they are not. These are adult skills. I know adults that do not know how to accept a no answer, who do not want to ever accept a consequence, and definitely cannot disagree appropriately. There are other adults who won't follow instructions no matter what, even if it's the right thing. They're just stubborn. Don't fall into that trap. All adults need those 4 basic skills for success, because when you are a self-governing adult, you give yourself instructions and follow through. You give yourself no answers and drop the subject. You give yourself consequences, well, basically, that you accept the consequences that you have earned yourself, and then you disagree appropriately with yourself and others. These are things you need for success. Well, let's start with that first one, following instructions. When a person follows instructions, they look at the person or the situation. They keep a calm face, voice, and body. Then they say, okay, or they ask to disagree appropriately. Then they do the task immediately and then check back. When you follow instructions from teachers and from parents, it increases trust. It deposits in your relationship bank account. Again, if you haven't listened to the video, Self-Mastery for Teens, I talk about a relationship bank account in that video, so be sure to reference that. When you are creating deposits, then you are more likely to get what you want. So follow instructions, follow instructions, follow instructions, and your parents and teachers will feel like they trust you, they can depend upon you, they will feel like you are more mature than you even are, because these are maturing skills. So let's talk about accepting no answers. When a person accepts a no answer, they look at the person, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say okay or ask to disagree appropriately, and then they drop the subject. There are a lot of things in life that are no answers. Somebody cuts you off in traffic, you don't do well on your math test, somebody doesn't want to go to a dance with you, somebody doesn't want to talk to you or is unkind to you, you have to do a chore you don't want to do, you have to eat your broccoli. I mean, fill in the blank. There's so many things besides just hearing no that are actually life's no answers. As a self-governed person, we have to be able to look at those situations and say, okay, while being completely calm, and then drop the subject. That means we don't think about them anymore. We actually just let them go and move on with our lives. This means we have to have a bigger picture focus. So often people get stuck in the details of maybe I feel this way, I don't feel understood, I don't feel understood, and so they don't drop the subject. They don't let it go. Well, if you don't feel understood, then you need to use another skill, which is called disagreeing appropriately. When a person disagrees appropriately, what they do is they look at the person or the situation, they keep a calm face, voice, and body. They say that they understand the other person's point of view. They share their point of view. They listen to what they have to say. They say okay, and then they drop the subject. Because we can't get everything our way all the time. But usually if you open the conversation in a disagree appropriately way, you'll have a good conversation. Probably you'll end up actually getting your way more often than not, because they'll be so amazed by how respectful and mature you are by taking the time to express yourself in such a complete and mature fashion by using that skill, disagreeing appropriately. Now, what about that 4th skill, accepting consequences? When a person accepts consequences, there's steps to that skill too, but what they are essentially doing is acknowledging, yep, I did something that had a negative consequence. I need to accept it. It's my responsibility. Holy cow. Youth who can take full responsibility like that are rare. They are humble and they are powerful. The ones that fight aren't powerful. Those are the ones that everybody knows have low self-esteem and are just trying to control. The youth who are truly powerful are the ones who choose to understand other people, who self-assess themselves, acknowledge where they've gone wrong, accept the consequences for it, and make a plan for doing better in the future. So that's 4 skills. That's really fast. They're powerful, but they do change relationships. They are things that people don't ever think about. They're things that emotionally healthy and socially healthy people do. Just, they figure them out over time naturally. But why not in your teen years figure it out early? Why not, if you're the parent or the teacher of teens, why not teach those things to them? It was an adult that taught me I could say okay and be okay. It was a friend of mine. It was her mother that told me that. It changed my relationship with my parents. It stopped conflict. Why not teach our teens the same thing? Just deliberately break down the process with skill sets just like I've talked about, and it will make a big difference. Now, there's one other skill that is super vital. In fact, it holds all of the other skills together, and that is the skill of calmness. So how do you become calm? That's a process, and each of us have our own little hang-ups for why we aren't calm. Maybe we've got certain triggers. Maybe we have some habits that we need to get ourselves out of, and the only place, or the only way to replace bad habits is by creating new ones. Those skills that I talked about will help, but all of those skills have a step in there about calmness. They all say, keep a calm face, voice, and body, which means that each person needs to have an awareness for how to do that. Well, I have 10 tools for calmness that I would like to share with you. And so there is a little mini course. It's completely free. Anybody can take it, and it will help you develop some of these tools for calmness to help you in your relationships with parents, with teachers, with children. Learn how to get yourself calm so that all of the communication, all of the understanding can actually happen. In the description below this video, there is a link to the Calm Parenting Toolkit, which is a beginner course in teaching self-government. It definitely does not teach all of the skills, but it's going to get you started. And the website, the link there is teachselfgov.com/toolkit. So click on that link right now and get started on your calmness and improving all your communications.